Hello everyone, welcome to this video. In the last video we started working on AZ300 labs that are available in the Github from Microsoft Learning, and we started doing the first lab which is about managing Azure subscription and resources and exploring monitoring capabilities in Azure. So we have already done exercise 1 where we have deployed Azure virtual machine skill set in the previous video, and we have reviewed the auto scaling options for our deployment. If you look at our deployment right here, so this is where we have deployed these resources in the previous video. We created the virtual machine skill set all in EastUS. We used a template for the deployment. It came with a load balancer built in, public IP address, and a virtual network. Now in this video, let's start working on implementing monitoring and alerting by using Azure Monitor. So Azure Monitor is a service where you can do all kinds of monitoring and alerting. So let's do. So what are the tasks here that we're going to complete? We'll create Azure VM skill set metrics based alerts. We're going to configure Azure VM skill set auto scaling based notifications, and we're going to test Azure VM skill set monitoring and alerting. Now, just as a caution, the testing sometimes is going to work, sometimes it may not work. I have seen previously that all they do is try to send a lot of requests to the server running on these machines, and based on how long you want to wait, you may not see the right amount of scaling up or down. But just we may get lucky and see that it's working just fine. But just a note to you: if you're doing the lab and if you don't get it done exactly, don't get discouraged. Just do it and move on to the next lab. All right. So the first tag is to create Azure VM skill set metrics based alert. So what are we gonna do? In the portal, navigate to the blade presenting the newly deployed Azure VM skill set and switch to monitoring metrics blade. So what they're saying is go to my virtual machine skill set, and over here there gotta be a blade for monitoring. So let's see if there is anything. Like there is a monitoring blade, right? So you have insights, alert, and metrics, 3 different things that you can configure for this virtual machine skill set resource. So what are we going to do? On the monitoring metrics blade, use the filter to display percent CPU. So let's do that. So metrics blade means, again, the blade means the links pretty much. Okay, so you click on the metrics, and then I think they're asking percent CPU is what we need to filter out. So let's give it a second to come up, see what we have. It's taking some time, so just read. So with an aggregation value of average of the virtual machine skill set resource you provisioned in the previous exercise in the lab. So we're going to look at percent CPU and with an aggregation value of average. Okay, so here which metric? Percentage CPU. So let's just type it out, percentage CPU. There are lots of metrics. If you just try to select it with the drop down, it may take you a little bit of time. So you click on that one, and aggregation is average, so I think that's already good. So we are done with this. Review the resulting chart and note the average percent CPU within the last few minutes. So if you do that, what you're seeing, it's already creating a graph for you. And if you look at the graph, it's saying it's only 0.6% of the machine is being used in the last few minutes, right over here. And close. What else? So let's go back. Navigate to the alerts blade in the monitoring section. So let's go now to alerts blade in the monitoring section. Okay, so they didn't ask us to do anything more, just to look at the CPU, and what kind of metric, what kind of graphs you can get, and you can actually play around your what exactly you're selecting to get other stuff. But for the lab, that's all you need to do. So let's move on. So navigate to alerts and the monitoring. We have done that. From the alerts, navigate to manage actions blade. So we are here. So where is our manage actions? So you see over here, we can create a new alert rule, manage alert rule, or manage actions. Okay, that's what they're asking us to do. So I'm going to click on that one. Let's see. So manage action. In the manage action section, we gotta create action group. So action groups are very useful, and you will know how it is. Action group you can pretty much most of the time you use for sending alerts, and we're probably gonna do the same thing. So let's see what's asking us to do. Set the action group name to this. So let's take it, and action group, create an action group. Action group name, this is the name of the action group. Short name is this, so let's pick it up. There we go. And then select the Azure subscription you used in the previous exercise. Accept the default name. So accept the default name, that is fine. So all of that they're saying it's all good. Accept the default name, default analytics log alerts to be created, default activity log alerts, default activity log. So that's all good. Set the action name is this. Let's copy this, and action name is going to be this. And what is the action type? And the action type is going to be email, SMS, push, or voice. So let's choose that one. And you can define what kind of action you want. So for this one, we are using this particular action type. And on the email, SMS, push blade, set an email address, a mobile phone number, or a phone number that you want to use to receive alerts generated by this rule. So over here, edit configure. So here let's do so I'm going to using an email, and this is just a dummy number. Oh, it says that's not a good number. So okay, so I got a phone number now, and is it asking for anything? Phone number that will receive alert. So that's pretty much all I need. By the way, the phone number is not the right phone number, so please don't try it out. Okay, email address is actually one of my active email address. You can send some emails. I might reply. Alright, so once this is done, I'm going to click on OK. And let's see over here on the add action page, click OK. So we are done with this. We're just going to click on OK. Even over here to configure our action group. So again, you can look at the notification bar and it's creating. It should be all good in a minute. Once that's done, we'll go back to the alerts blade. Okay, so looks like that is done. So let's go back to the alerts blade. Okay, now we are back in the alerts blade. Okay, navigate to the new alert rule blade. So remember the steps. So before you even create a new alert, you gotta create a action group, and the way you do that is going to the manage actions. Okay, that may be an exam question that they ask, what are you gonna do before you create a new rule? Alright, now let's create a rule. Once we have the action group, what is the rule that we're gonna create? In the resources section, select the VM scale set that you provision. So in the resources section, so it looks like it's already selected. So In the condition section, click add condition. So since we have this already selected, I don't have to worry about this. Here there are no conditions selected, so when are you going to get an alert? So that is the condition criteria. So let's click on select condition. So there are a whole bunch of default settings that you can choose, but let's see what's in the lab. Select the person's CPU metric. So let's copy this, and I'm going to search for it, the person's CPU. So I'm going to copy that one, select that one, and leave the dimension setting and the condition type with the default values. Set the condition to greater than, and set type aggregation to average and threshold to 40, aggregation granularity to 1 minute and frequency every 1 minute, and click done. So let's see, what do we have? Just got it. Okay, VM name and all of that stuff, they're saying to keep it default. So the operator right over here, operator greater than, aggregation average, threshold value, I think they said 40. We'll go back and review it again. So greater than, average, and 40, and aggregation granularity 1 minute every 1 minute. So, and the other thing here, 1 minute and every 1 minute. So we made really two changes. We changed the threshold value and we changed the aggregation granularity period. So remember kind of how we are doing it. We have first chosen what do we need to get notified as a person CPU, and then when am I interested, what is the condition of the person CPU, and that's what you're configuring right over here. And you are saying the operator when the use is greater than 40%, and how often are you collecting the data? In every 1 minute. Okay, so now you're clicking done. So that now you have set up that that rule, and the rule is most likely getting created, and it will probably give you another notification. So let's see what else it's saying. Just click done. In the actions section, select action group, select previously created action group, and click done. Okay, so did we do that? Action group, no, we have not done that. So we need to create the action group before I can actually click on the alert rule. So let's do that. So and here this is the action group we selected, and then select, and we already said done. And here there are some more parameters that we need to fill in. So let's see, alert details, set the alert rule name to this. It's a good nice descriptive name, so you can read it again. It's percentage CPU of the VM scale set is greater than 60%. Okay, and then a description to percent CPU of the VM set greater than 40%. There we go. And severity 3 set as enable rule, and say yes. So create rule. So I think all the rest, and you can click on the severity. There are several levels of severity from 0 to 4, and we are using the severity 3, which was the default. So now I'm going to click on create alert rule, and again you can go to the notification bar. It's saying that now the rule is now done. The rule is successfully created for us. So let's go back. Now it can take up to 10 minutes to for the metric rule to become active. Now in this one, configure Azure VM skill set for auto scaling based on notification. So let's finish up this one as well in this lab, and let's see how much we can do. Maybe we'll do all next 2 tasks in this lab as well. So in the Azure portal, navigate to the blade representing newly deployed VM skill set, and then switch to scaling blade. Okay, so we have been working within this area under monitoring. Now we are going to go back to scaling. Okay, so remember we we have been using the custom auto scale where we have the instance limit 1, maximum 3, default 1, and here are some parameters that that the scaling is going to use, when to scale up and when to scale in, or scale out or scale in. So let's see what it's doing. Scaling blade, click notify tab heading, configure the following settings and save your changes. So over here under scaling, here is your notify right over here, so click on here. So now enable notification. Okay, not sure about that one. Let's see if email code. Okay, so email, this is enabled, this one is disabled. So this one enable, this one let's disable that one. Additional administrator email, add an email address that you want to use to receive notification about auto scaling event. So even over here, so I'm going to use one of my email addresses, and webhook, they're not asking to do anything. So now we have defined our alerts in two different ways. Okay, from the alerts we have done so, and from here notification bar we have also enabled some of the notification. I can save the configuration right now, and that completes the task 2, configure Azure VM scale set auto scaling based notification. Okay, so the first one was metric based alerts, and next one that we just configured, so it was auto scaling based notification. Okay, so the third thing is test the auto scale monitoring and alerting. So now this one, you know, we may have a limited success, but we'll see. Let's keep going. So in the Azure portal, search for load balancer, navigate to the load balancer blade. A load balancer should exist representing the one that you created. Identify the public IP address assigned to the front end of the load balancer assigned with the VM scale set. So let's go back over here, and there are many ways to go. So you can maybe just search for load balancer, you just click on it, and it's going to show you all the load balancer resources that you have. So this is the one that we have deployed. So if you click on it, you should be able to get the IP address, and here is the IP address that I have. So let's click on that one and save it in some place. Let's just get rid of all of the text here and just save that IP address. And so we are done with this. Identify the public IP address, we are done with that. From the lab computer, start a new browser and go to the IP address and go to the port 9000. That's what it's saying. Actually, I can just do it right here, configure the way I want my URL to look like. So let's do it that way. It's going to port 9000. So now take all of that, just go to another browser, and there we go. So it can connect to my server, and it says worker interface, the worker thread is not running, and use it, and that some stuff. So I know that my VM scale set is working fine, and my load balancer is actually sending the workload to one of the VMs that's running at this time. So let's go back in here. In here on the worker interface page, click on start work link. So let's click on this one, start work, and now it's saying the worker thread is running. Now I can stop the work if I like. So on the use CPU average chart on the VM scale set overview blade to monitor changes on the CPU utilization. On the CPU average chart on the VM scale set. So let's go back to the VM scale set. So again, do a VM a VM scale set. So we have only one, so we can go click on that one, and from here we can go to metrics, and under metrics again we can use percentage CPU and average time, and we can monitor this, and what we expect this to go up most likely. Okay, So let's go back to the lab. Or we have said monitor changes to the CPU utilization. Alternatively, you can navigate back to the matrix blade and use the filters to display percent CPU. Actually, this is what we are doing. Uh, Matrix and set the time to the last 30 minutes. So this is really displaying a much longer period. So we want to change this to for the last 30 minutes, and to do that you just click on, see what I am doing. So just over here, the local time, I'm just clicking on here, and I'm only interested in the last 30 minutes. So that's now what it's doing. So what we expect, since the worker is running, we're expecting the utilization to go up. Alright, let's read the lab. You should receive an alert regarding increased CPU utilization within a couple of minutes. Okay, so 101. So they're saying I should expect something within 2 minutes. So let's see if I can get to that email. Here, so let's go to my email address and see what is going on with my email address in the last couple minutes. Okay, so last, when I created this action group, it has sent me an email that I'm part of this action group. I have not received any alerts right now. So what I'll do, I'm going to just pause the video, and this is where I'm going to tell you that if you don't get an alert, don't get disappointed. Just keep working on. Sometimes you try to overwhelm the system, but Azure, being smart, it handles that stuff. So maybe you need to wait longer. So that is not possible for a lab environment. You have to wait a much longer period of time, or create more stress to your environment. But we're still going to wait 1 more minute. So I'm going to pause the video, and we'll come back and review what is going on. At the time, let's refresh this one more time and see. Yeah, I can see that it's going actually up very fast. So we might see something is going on. So it's almost 40%, right? So we almost said when it reaches 40%, we should be getting an email. So actually, let's, yeah, this is the email that I want. So let's keep that window open, and let's come back in a minute. I'm gonna pause the video. Alright, I'm back, and guess what? Here is my alert. Okay, I actually took a small break, so I came back after a little bit, not at 103. But if you look at my email, the alert came right at 104. So right within 2 minutes, as per the lab, it said that it expect that within 2 minutes it will go up. So we are done up to that point. So we got the alerts, everything is working. I'm so excited. Now we switch to the instances blade of the VM skill set in order to identify the number of instances. So let's go there, and instances, right here is my instances blade. So let's see how many are running. So it's now it's running only one. Let's see. So what happened, probably it spin up and then it reduced back down by now when I came back a little late. So let's read the lab. Node order, you can navigate to the scaling blade. In a resource scalability, click on name of the VM skill set, autocode select run history. Maybe I will be lucky and we'll find out what happened. Stop work link, monitor decrease in CPU, and scaling up events. After you complete this exercise, you have implemented test. Okay, so what so far we have completed that we know that we are getting that email properly. I don't see any additional instances that are running. I see only one instance that is running at this time. Status running one more. Okay, so I have not used this particular blade yet, so that was kind of interesting. So if you ask me, so far I'm seeing only one instance is running, okay, not two. And so let's go back to overview one more time. Status 1 of 1 succeeded, public IP, all of that is good. Our CPU usage is right now at 50%, and I'm gonna give it just a little bit more time and see what happens if it goes to 60%, and maybe we can stop. So the idea of this lab is really so we can see it has never reached 60%, and if I look at our scaling, okay, I think we said it has to reach 60% before I can have a new virtual machine, if I remember correct. So it's here, so add. So what I can do at this time, maybe even click on this one, bring it down, average percent CPU greater than to say 40%. Okay, so then update duration minutes, and let's say every 1 minute I want to see the update. So click on this. Okay, now I'm gonna save this. So if it's more than 40%, it should now increase my auto scaling by 1. So let's now go back to scaling. Just go back to overview blade again, and instances is where we want to go. Where is my instances? Instances where we want to go. It's running 1, and I'm now going to give 1 more minute because we have just configured the auto scale option, and see what happens. And just give it a couple of minutes. If it happens, it's good. If not, we're not going to wait for like very long. We'll move on to the next lab, but I'm still going to give it 2 more minutes. I'll be back. Alright, I didn't have to wait very long this time, only few seconds, and you can already see that since now I have a 40% limit, another instance is getting created as we speak. Okay, so that's, I would consider, a great success for our lab. So let's go to the lab. So run history. So other thing they're saying, we can go to the scaling blade. So let's just go to scaling blade, and here they're saying run history is where you can also figure out what's going on. So auto scale up completed a few seconds ago. You see that? So here is auto scale up initiated because with our new threshold limit that we said, it met, and now auto scale is now completed. So that's excellent. So we have also verified that we can look at this, switch to Microsoft Windows and stop work. So if I now stop the work, we would expect that a CPU utilization is going to go down. So our scale in will kick in, and it will drop the number of resources or number of instances from 2 to 1. So now you should have, now you have 2, it will be 1, back to 1 again. So let's go back over here where I have the worker that's running. I can stop the work, and once I stop the work, I'm going to go back and go to the metrics one more time, and we'll select the percentage CPU again. Average, that's fine. We're going to look at last 30 minutes is good. So it's all up here, and now we have stopped the task. It will go down. So again, I want to give it a couple more minutes, and we'll go from there. Okay, I'm turning back on just to show you that although we stopped the task, it's going to take just a little bit of time to take the average and then bring the average down. But right now you can see we have said that we can have up to 3 instances, and right now I have 3 instances that are running in my virtual machine scale set based on the criteria, because it made greater than 60% or 40% that we said, and it stayed up there for quite some time. Okay, percent CPU average, so it's now it's going down, and let's go and take a look at last 30 minutes. So for a long time it stayed up to 40%. So now you see that right now it kind of went down below 15%. So I would expect, so 30% was the limit. So as soon as it drops below 30%, it should drop our deployment by 1. So if I go back to my instances, I should start seeing these to go down. Okay, and again you can go back to the scaling and the run history. So run history should tell you again what's going on with this. It's saying the scale up completed, and again what's the capacity is the third three, or all three of them running. It's at the maximum capacity of the auto scale host. Okay, so now go back in here, and what I'll do, I'll give it a couple more minutes again, and then we can end the lab at that time. I don't want to make the lab too long, but I also at the same time I want to give you some excitement that it's working in real world and you can see the results. But I think we did really good for this lab, so I'm pretty happy. I think that the last one is really removing the lab resource, uh, and yeah, we'll complete this one. Just removing, let's just talk about it while it's running. So for all of the resources and you're going to create in a lab, you can run this command get az resource, and for this we're going to provide this az 300010 star. So it's going to get all the resource groups that are being created as part of the lab, and then we're going to pass the output of this command to the remove az resource group, and we're going to use force and as job. So it's going to give you the command line back to you, and it's going to start this command as a background job, and it will delete all the resource groups and every resources that are created as part of this lab. Why is this important? Because if you keep it running, you are paying. So if you have a free subscription or whatever subscription you have, if this is not that you're going to use, there is no point keep them running and paying money for it. So, and some of the resources like this, we are running 3 of them. We're using load balancer, we're using public IP address, we're using storage. So all of that, it only costs money. So make sure to delete all of the resources once you're done with the lab. So let's look back in here, and let's see what's going on. If it's dropped below, is the scaling in kicked in already, or it's still run history? Yeah, so scale down completed, you see. So excellent. So I feel like we have completed every single thing. So now you see only one is now running. Since our CPU percentage has dropped, it's now deleting other 2 instances. So I'm really happy that we finished everything in this lab. So we really have only 2 videos to complete this particular section of this lab. So let's just end my lab here. I'm just not going to run this command. I'm going to run it just in a little bit. You know what, I can also run this command just to show you how to run it, because I don't need to to run this command. If there's a conflict, it will just say, hey, there is something going on with the resource group, you can run the command. But I'm still going to run it and in that lab right there. If you like the video, again, give me a like, subscribe if you like the video. If you have any comments to improve these labs, just let me know. Share your experience if you had faced any problems. And again, if you're studying for the exam, good luck. All the best. See you in the next video. Thank you.